Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
2 certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only 2 best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go.
Hey,
Welcome to a special episode.
oh, it is. It is. And they know that now because they
You
saw
saw the title.
whatever. We will get into that, but it's my podcast and I decide what to talk about first. And so I'm talking about the fact that today's the first day of one-on-one coaching enrollment.
We've been telling you that this day was coming and we're reminding you it is the day. Today is the first day to be able to fill out a form and say, all right, I really seriously want to talk about maybe doing some coaching together. It's time.
Yep.
I know some of you have been on the fence for a while.
Want to have a serious sit-down conversation that won't feel like a serious sit-down conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It will feel like this podcast because this is who I am all the time.
Correct. But it will be a little bit more coachy.
It will be about you.
For sure.
And what your deal is. So here's what we don't do. Just love to put this out there. Okay. I'm not like a resume coach.
Mm-hmm.
I will happily look at my clients' resumes when we get to the point where it might be relevant to start focusing on it.
Yeah. So here's what's funny is my last real adult job before having a full-time business
Involved a
lot of resume writing.
Editing.
And that was part of my job responsibilities, which is funny. I had no intention of bringing that in. So this is something that we are very capable of doing. We both have writing backgrounds, but
it's not the point.
If that's what you're coming to us for,
there's so many better people.
Go find an actual resume writer, coach or consultant or something.
Plenty of those people out there.
They exist, and you're not going to get us at our best. We have so much more to offer than just going over your resume or preparing you for a job interview.
Like asking Michael Jordan for tips on
how to play horse.
Right.
And you're like, come on, man.
Really? You're going to pay me to do that?
I know.
It's dumb. So it also just is not the root of what we do. So resume, think of like, I like to use this analogy. I've used it before, but if you're new, this will help you understand what coaching is and what we do. I like to think of coaching as a tree. You got the root system, that's the common denominator place, and then you got all the branches. You can start on any branch. We all have relationship branch, family branch, health branch, career branch, and on it goes. We hang out kind of on the career branch. That's why people come to us. The resume lives on the tippy end of one of those branches.
One of the furthest out leaves of that branch.
Right? If you want a branch level career coach, go find one. There are a million of them. Here's what they'll do. You'll say, I hate my job. I don't know what I want to do. I feel like I need to change.
And they'll say, what are your skills? And what is your experience? And let's look at your resume and let's get you a new job that's based on your unique skill set.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be like, I don't necessarily know for sure when you say I'm dissatisfied in my career, if I should believe you. I'm not going to start out assuming you're right. Because a lot of the time when people are dissatisfied in their career, it's just the pain point they can most clearly identify. It's not the root of the problem. The root of the problem is down there at the root of the tree. And it has so much more to do with who you are, what your blocks are. And for example, we have so many people pleasers who listen to us. We seem to be a magnet for them. I don't know why. I mean, I guess maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. They just keep coming and I keep...
And like attracts like. That's what I attract some of my like-minded friends.
It's your fault. But anyway, we have a lot of people pleasers. And one of the biggest themes of people pleasers is that they never were given the opportunity to figure out what they valued, separate and apart from what other people value.
They were so focused on what do other people want from me that when you ask them, what do you want? So they're like, whoa, I don't even know.
Right. So they couldn't recognize a job if it like fell from the sky and knocked them out, like they wouldn't recognize it. So there's no point in trying to find that person a new job. How are you going to know if you even want it, if it's even right for you? So much of the work we do at the beginning is not about the job. It's about who you are, what your belief system, what your patterns, what your programming has resulted in.
What your deepest desires are when it's just you, and how we can actually, like, what steps need to be taken. Because often it's not the steps that you think need to be taken to get you to what you ultimately want, which is to feel fulfilled and happy and in charge of your life and connected. Like, that's what you want. You don't necessarily just want a new job, even if that's what you think you want today. So that's why we don't trust you necessarily.
Like in the best way.
In the best way. When you come in and say, I want a new job. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That might be the avenue to get you what you ultimately want. But let's first figure out what is underneath of that.
Who are you really, and what's getting in your way? And how can we undo that so that we can actually think clearly and assess clearly what your options are? And then we can go from there. Because I want you to become the version of yourself you're most excited about, like the best possible version of yourself. And then I want that person to get what they want. And if that's a new job, great. Then we will talk about, okay, what are some action steps we can take? What are some research you can do? And we will hold you accountable for doing it. We will walk you through, hold your hand while you do it, and you report back and you go, oh my God, that was so scary. I don't know what to do next. Okay, we'll coach around that. And then eventually at the very end, we'll look at your resume. Maybe when it's appropriate, because that's what the best version of you wants to do, is update her resume. And
by that point, the resume that we ultimately come up with is going to look really different than if we started out doing that for you.
Yeah.
It's going to actually get you where you want to go. Ultimately.
Also, like one of the biggest themes of my clients is that they start out really caring about a particular outcome. And by the end, they're like, oh yeah, I'm just like happy living my life. And I do want that, but I'm not really like pressed for it at this point. They're so much more relaxed and they're so much more at ease in their life. And then again, getting what you want becomes a result of living a life that feels good, as opposed to, I need that to make me feel good. That's branch level coaching. And we do not do that.
No. And I do want to, we'll talk about this more to those of you who are interested and want to have a conversation about coaching. But just so some of you know, we do have a process that we take you through. I don't think we talk very often about the fact that it's not just, so I see a lot of value in coaches, therapists, people out there who are what I call problem of the day coaches.
They help you process.
Yeah.
What do you want to process
Something came
today?
up that day, something came up this past week, and you want to work through it and process it and then move on and see what comes up the next time. There's a lot of value in that.
Yeah,
and
we need that.
We need that.
But that's not what Kristen and I do.
That's not what we do, because people are coming to us typically with the same version of a different version of the same question, which is, I'm unhappy and I want to figure out how to get me happier
If we only
in my career and or life.
If we only focus on the problem of the day, we'll just keep solving the problem of the day, but we'll never get to the root of why are you blocked and unfulfilled in the first place. That's where Kristen and I like to hang out.
Yeah. So we actually take you through a process that we have used on, I was going to say hundreds. It might be thousands of people at this point.
I think if you combine all the courses we've ever done, it's definitely like in the 4 figures.
So we know that this process works, and we're going to guide you through it. So you don't even have to figure out what to talk about. You don't even have to figure out where to go from here. We got you.
We are not the type of coaches who sit down and say, what do you want to talk about today? We know what we're talking about that day, but we're not going to, it's not rigid to the point where we have to talk about this. And if we don't, it's not going to work. It's just, this is our starting point. We've given you some homework to help prime you for it. And then we're going to dive in. And it takes all of the thought and effort out of you having to figure out what to focus on and when. When is important too.
Yeah.
You know, the order in which we do things.
People find it to be a relief sometimes.
It's a huge relief.
To know, like, there is a process. I'm going to be guided through it. And people have been through this process before and they keep getting results. So you don't even have to know what's going to happen yet. We got you.
You're just plugging into our system, and it will work for you because it's worked for everyone else. We didn't invent the system either. I mean, we are trained, certified life and career coaches. We also, in all of our experience with people, have created a system that works for us, but it's not like we invented coaching.
No,
so there's some relief there too. It's not just us. This is something that if you're a good coach, you should be able to do for anyone. And we've refined it based on our clients' needs.
Exactly.
So anyway, if you're interested in that, just like all that, then you should go fill out a form on the one-on-one coaching page, link in episode notes, or you can just go to clarityonfire.com. There's a work with us tab, find the one-on-one coaching page there. There's a form, and it's not like okay, great, sign up, pay me money before I talk to you. Kristen and I would literally never.
No.
Because in order to have a really great coaching relationship, we have to make sure it's a good match and that it's a good fit for you, it's a good fit for us, and that it's good all around. We want to talk to you first. And I hope that feels...
And we're going to
I hope that's what you want too.
We're going to ask you some questions on that form to make sure you can share a little bit with us. We can have the most productive conversation with you too. So give yourself a couple of minutes to fill it out. And one of us will get back to you within a day or so of you submitting that. And we'll get on the phone.
Okay. So this will be going on for 2 weeks. It is a little bit first come, first serve. Again, I mean, our schedules are finite. We're only taking on about 10 or 15. 15 is a max,
would be
honestly. That would be like that would be a lot, maybe more than we could really handle, but I'm going to say it anyway. But it would certainly not be more than that. So that's a drop in the bucket of people who listen to this podcast.
Yes.
So if you want to do it, then you should be motivated to do it sooner and not like spin your wheels. So if you need a couple days to spin, go ahead. You could just talk to us and then we'll help you with the spinning, because I'm not trying to get you to do it if you don't want to do it. I don't want to work with you if you don't want to work with me. So trust me, I'm not going to like beguile you into doing coaching.
No.
I could if I wanted to. I don't want to. So you can trust me. Okay?
I couldn't if I wanted to.
There you go.
So yeah.
I think you actually could.
You think I could beguile people?
Because no one's expecting it. You have the
element
power.
Of surprise.
Yes. Yeah. People would be expecting it from me. That's why I can't do it.
Be on more alert.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's not the only reason I wouldn't do it.
I don't have the skill set. I'm not like a natural beguiler. One who beguiles.
I mean, my appearance doesn't feel particularly beguiling right now, but this is more about my words and my persuasion and my energy and all of that. Mm-hmm. It's like I could have been a Slytherin if I'd chosen
So you're saying like I could have actually maybe made it for a great spy? Because nobody would think I was a spy.
No, because you can't walk without falling over. So there's that.
And I can't lie to save my life.
And your legs are too short. You couldn't run away fast enough.
That's so true.
So no, I think there's other reasons you wouldn't have made a great spy. Yeah, okay. So
I'm in the right line of work.
She's a good coach, not a good spy. So hire her for that. Okay. On to
your New Year's reading.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what it is. I guess it's January, right? This isn't a New Year's reading, though. This is a reading about whatever you want it to be about, which is what I like. So we are using a deck. This is actually a deck that was gifted to us from one of our listeners.
I know. I love that.
This is the Enchanted Map Oracle deck by Colette Baron-Reid. I am going to shuffle it. I do love a good like Foley.
You're hearing it in real time.
An industry term. And so I'm going to shuffle these a little bit, and then I'm going to split the deck into thirds. Classic. Mm-hmm. This is kind of how we've always done it. I'm going to return to our classic way. And
you can do it a couple of ways. You can, we're going to let you know left, middle, right.
Yeah.
And you can choose in your mind ahead of time.
Which card you want.
I have a question or I have a thought, or I'm just looking for a message and I choose the middle card or the left card, whatever. Yeah. Or you can just sit back and chill and hear them all and then hear our interpretation and be like, the overall message was my message for the day. Whatever.
Well, you can also decide you want feedback about something very specific. So if you need to pause and figure out what the thing is you want feedback on, and then pick like a direct, pick a left, center, or right, that's fine. If you don't know, then just intend that you pick the card that has the message for you today. Mm-hmm. That's most relevant to you, because sometimes you don't know what you need feedback on.
Yeah. So do this however you want to.
Okay.
We're the deliverers. You get to decide how to interpret.
Okay. These are hard to shuffle because they're so new that I haven't used them. Barely. Okay. Splitting it now. My sound effects are so good. It's all precarious. Okay. Oh, wow. This card is number 29 for your reference, Kristen.
Okay. I opened right to it, by the way.
Wow. Uh-huh. Okay. It's called Coming to Life, and it is this beautiful woman who has so she's like almost like, looks like she was a sculpture and now she's transforming back into a human.
Oh.
And there's like butterflies and she's holding this beautiful blue orb and she's got like fancy, like almost like fairy makeup on. It's very pretty. Okay, read us this card.
Okay. There's a little quote before we actually read the description.
This is the left-handed one. Did I say that? This is the one on the left. So if you picked left, this is your card.
Oh, this is left.
Okay.
The little quote it starts with is, "Something beautiful is being born in your life."
Nice.
Okay. When you look at your life, can you see how you've grown and evolved over time? Perhaps you've shed skins and identities and created new ones, or at the very least, matured in your ideas about yourself and the world you inhabit. You know things take time, and Spirit's timetable is rarely in sync with your own.
Oh my God. I didn't pick this one, but it might be coming through to hit me in my head anyway. Continue.
This card indicates that a long-held dream is beginning to show signs of life.
Mm-hmm.
You must try not to coax it along or shape it according to your desires. Spirit knows the best form for the manifestation of this dream, and your life can possibly become even better than you could possibly imagine. Now is the time for reverence and awe. Allow the contours of your path to be carved by the hands of the divine. All you have to do is show up. Ooh, wow, that's a great card.
It's a really good card. It's very pretty. We'll take a picture of them and post them on the site. So in the episode notes where it says, come take a look at the cards or leave a comment on the site, just click that and then there'll be a picture of them if you want to see that. Well, that I felt like called out by that, even though it wasn't the card I picked. So now I'm very curious because I did pick the center card. So we're going to see what I got.
I forgot to pick a card because I was just trying to find the card in here. So I'm going to just
take the whole thing as a reading.
I mean, any card that essentially is saying your greatest dreams are coming to life and you don't have to do anything.
Sure.
Bring it
That's
on.
my card. Well, but also you have to like try not to force it into existence.
Exactly.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't push it along.
So the next one is 31 and it's dry desert. So there's this long-haired blonde woman in the desert, but there's like two cacti in the distance and like some sort of buzzard probably hovering in the distance.
Okay. Very beautiful sky.
Okay, just read this one and then we'll see what I have to say about this because it's like a beautiful like rose colored, almost like sunrise or sunset maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this one also has a quote at the beginning. I'm assuming
maybe they all do.
Dig deep for inspiration and truth. Now is the time to become resilient and adaptable. Is your life presenting you with opportunities that seem to yield nothing? Have your ideas dried up? Does it feel like you're on an endless journey through a dry, hot, lifeless desert?
It does. Keep reading.
Rachel's like energetically waving her hands around. This card reminds you that there are times when you're meant to become resilient as you journey through harsher circumstances. You're being required to conserve your energy until, after consistent effort, you reach the oasis that you're searching for.
Mm-hmm.
Consider the creatures that live in these conditions. They have adapted to thrive in spite of the outer environment. In a desert, water, essential for life, can be found deep underground. Go deep within yourself now and find your truth there. Let spirit sustain you while you locate the real source. Whatever it is you're asking about will not be found in the conditions that you're in until you move past the surface of things and choose to do the real work and discover the answers deep within you. This may not seem like the most productive time, but looks are deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
This is a most important place to find what's truly right for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In combination with the card before, I like it because it's not like there's a hopeful sort of correlation there.
They both, to me, strike of very little outward action, but a lot happening inside.
I also so last year I got a lot of cactus signs from the universe.
I remember that.
And before I even Googled it, it just, to me, I think it's always good when you get signs to ask, what does that mean to me? Because the universe doesn't care what you Google. It cares how you interpret it. So I was like, well, cactus, seeing a cactus in the desert it's a source of life and water, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's
one of the few in a really barren place.
An unexpected like source of life in the middle of something barren. And so to me, it was like there's unexpected life in the middle of barren circumstances.
And the first one was coming to life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a theme going on here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, very interesting. All right. You're right. The card on the right hand, if that's what you picked. We've gotten this one before. 26, Deep Freeze.
Oh, I remember this one.
Okay. So
26?
This is kind of also, what's interesting is I don't know if it's an actual lion or if it's a sculpture of a lion, but it's a lion laying in sort of a frozen tundra next to like a pond and looks like it's asleep.
Okay. Here is our little intro quote. Everything has its season. Now is the time to put activity on hold while you rest.
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely
going on here.
The cold winter, and we are in a cold winter, beckons you to slow down and put a freeze on things that are not yet ready to bloom. Mm-hmm. It's time for regeneration and hibernation. Forgo ambitious activity. Oh,
they're
like really hammering this one. A pregnant pause allows ideas to gestate, projects to shift and change, and relationships to go through a dreamy state of being, not going anywhere, but not needing to. This is a time to put your arguments on ice as well. Nothing beneficial will come from any of them. Self-care is the most important activity now. So reflect, read a good book, or get a massage. Rest and dream. Interesting that this one included they put pregnant pause in quotes, kind of draw attention to it. Mm-hmm. And our first one was coming to life. Mm-hmm. So there is this idea of this like deep gestation period that's happening that doesn't require a ton of activity. And in fact, you might end up forcing it, like the first card said, if you try to coax things into existence too soon. But that a lot is actually happening if you give it space to breathe.
What's interesting is that these cards each look like they're from different seasons. One card looks like it's from winter. One card looks like it's from like the dead of dry summer. And one looks like it's spring. Mm-hmm. And it's, I think there's sort of it doesn't really matter what order you look at them in, but I think there's like this definite theme of life happens in its seasons. You don't have to control it. You don't have to push it. You don't have to force it. If you go inward, there's plenty of work to be done. There's plenty of life to sustain you. Mm-hmm. And it will come to life. It will unthaw and come to life in its own time.
Yeah. This is reminding me a bit of the episode we did a while back about masculine and feminine energy. And these cards are all calling for feminine energy.
A lot of feminine energy.
Not masculine. Masculine energy is very much action and going after things and crushing it. And there's not a lot. They're actually asking you, please don't do that right now.
Yeah.
Please don't do a bunch of stuff right now.
Not external stuff.
Not external stuff. But if it's internal clarification or checking in with yourself or self-care.
Working on yourself is okay.
Yeah. That's what's being asked right now.
So I see working on yourself. That could be many things. In coaching, obviously, a big part of at the beginning of it is it's all just internal work, reflecting on my programming, my beliefs, what's gotten me to where I am, what might need to change. And what happens when you focus on doing internal work is that it sets you up for when the time is right, you kind of come to life when the circumstances have aligned sort of in the external plane. Mm-hmm.
And then the activity can ramp up. I think it's slightly funny. I feel like it sounds like we picked these cards to be like, this might be a good time for coaching. I promise we did not. But it does feel like for some of you, this might be a good time to go internal.
Yeah.
We don't often have such a clear recurrent theme when we do these. But this one was just like the same message over and over again.
Yeah. It was like, did you not get it the first time? Let's say it a slightly different way. All right, let's do that again. So I will take a picture of these and I will also transcribe the message so that you can read it. If you don't want to go back and re-listen, you can just click on over to the site and read these cards too. Mm-hmm. I also think sometimes you see things that you didn't hear because you're actually taking in the words with your eyes.
Yeah, and you might get a message more visually too. We described the pictures a bit, but you want to see them because I know some of you, that's going to be even more powerful than the words, potentially.
Okay. So interesting.
Very interesting.
I mean, I think it just hit me over the head.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I know you've got like a good reading, is that I didn't necessarily want to hear it, but I felt, all right.
It struck something deep and true.
So we will be back. When will we be back? I guess we'll be back next Friday. Yeah. Because we're doing our bonus book club episode next Friday. Okay. Yes. Preview. Not even a preview. This is like a teaser. Of all the books we've ever read, I had the most resistance to this one. I haven't even finished it yet at the time we're recording this. Every time I try to read it, I want to throw it across the room. I just don't want to read it. I don't know what it is. And it's not the book's fault. Or it is, but it's not because it's not written well, or it's not because it doesn't have good content.
It actually might be because it's so powerful.
I think that might be it. I'm having like an angry reaction to this book. So we're going to
come
talk.
Back at least to hear that.
It might be a bit of it's not going to be a normal book club episode. I think there might be a lot of feelings. Or at least a lot of resistance from me. So if that you find entertaining, definitely come back next Friday.
A little, but I don't think nearly as much as you. I'm finding it a little bit
Do you ever feel as emotionally charged as me?
It's rare. It's happened, but it's
right.
Like a blue moon.
But it's like a Tuesday for me. And for you, it's like a blue moon situation.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
No, but I didn't expect you to have the same kind of intense reaction.
We've already told everyone the name of the book, but in case
The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
Are like, oh, I really want to start reading that, or maybe
what book are you talking about so I can avoid it? It's The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It's an old book. It's actually from like the mid-90s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But we're reading the 25th anniversary version, so that it was updated more recently. Anyway, it's not like casual reading. It's
a process.
It's really like a course almost in book form.
It's a 12-week process. And I'll be honest, I have not actually done the 12-week process in
the way
timeline
that she suggests.
Yeah, but I've been trying to incorporate bits here and there. So we'll get into it next time.
Well, a book club episode from two people who slacked off on the book and have angry feelings about it. So see you next time.
See you then.